yourself!
Long live the king!
Bernardo!
He?
You come most carefully upon your hour.
'Tis now struck 12. Get thee to bed, Francisco.
For this relief, much thanks. 'Tis bitter cold, and I am sick at heart.
Have you had quiet guard?
Not a mouse stirring.
Well, good night. If you do meet Horatio and Marcellus, the rivals of my watch, bid them make haste.
I think I hear them. Stanto, who's there?
Friends to this brand!
And liegemen to the Dane.
Give you good night.
Oh, farewell, honest soldier. Who hath relieved you?
Bernardo hath my place. Give you good night.
Holla, Bernardo!
Say what? Is Horatio there?
Peace of him.
Welcome, Horatio. Welcome, good Marcellus.
What, has this thing appeared again tonight?
I have seen nothing.
Horatio says 'tis but our fantasy, and will not let belief take hold of him, touching this dreaded sight, twice seen of us. Therefore I have entreated him along, that if again this apparition come, he may approve our eyes and speak to it.
Touched will not appear.
Sit down a while, and let us once again assail your ears that are so fortified against our story, what we 2 nights have seen.
Well, sit we down, and let us hear Bernardo speak of this.
Last night of all, when yon same star that's westward from the pole had made his course to illume that part of heaven where now it burns, Marcellus and myself, the bell then beating one.
Peace! Break thee off. Look where it comes again.
In the same figure like the king that's dead.
Thou art a scholar. Speak to it, Horatio.
Looks it not like the king? Mark it, Horatio.
Most like. It harrows me with fear and wonder.
It would be spoke to.
Question it, Horatio.
What art thou that usurps this time of night? Together with that fair and warlike form in which the majesty of buried Denmark did sometimes march. By heaven I charge thee, speak.
It is offended.
See, it stalks away.
Stay! Speak! Speak, I charge thee, speak!
'Tis gone and will not answer.
How now, Horatio? You tremble and look pale. Is not this something more than fantasy? What think you on it?
Before my God I might not this believe, without the sensible and true avouch of mine own eyes.
Is it not like the king?
Thou art to thyself. Such was the very armour he had on when he the ambitious Norway combated. 'Tis strange.
Thus twice before, and jump at this dead hour. With martial stalk have he gone by our watch.
In what particular thought to work, I know not. But in the gross and scope of my opinion, this bodes some strange eruption to our state.
Good now, sit down and tell me, he that knows, why this same strict and most observant watch so nightly toils the subject of the land, and why such daily cast of brazen cannon and foreign mark for implements of war. Who is that can inform me?
That can I. At least the whisper goes so. Our last king, whose image even but now appeared to us, was, as you know, by Fortinbras of Norway, dared to the combat, in which our valiant Hamlet, for so this side of our known world esteemed him, did slay this Fortinbras, who, by a sealed compact, well ratified by law and heraldry, did forfeit with his life all those his lands which he stood seized on to the conqueror, but his fell to Hamlet. Now, sir, young Fortinbras, of unimproved metal, hot and full, hath in the skirts of Norway, here and there, sharked up a list of lawless resolutes for food and diet, to some enterprise that hath a stomach in it, which is no other, and it doth well appear unto our state, but to recover of us by strong hand and terms compulsative those foresaid lands so by his father lost. And this, I take it, is the main motive of our preparations, the source of this our watch, and the chief head of this post-haste and rummage in the land.
I think it be no other but e'en so. Well may it sort that this portentous figure comes armoured through our watch, so like the king, that was and is the question of these wars.
Soft, behold, lo, where it comes again. Oh, across it though it blast me. Stay, illusion! If thou hast any sound or use of voice, speak to me. If there be any good thing to be done that may to thee do ease and grace to me, speak to me. If thou art privy to thy country's fate, which happily foreknowing may avoid, oh speak. Speak of it, stay and speak. Stop it, Marcellus!
Shall I strike at it with my partisan?
Do if it will not stand.
'Tis here!
Here.
'Tis gone. We do it wrong being so majestical, to offer it the show of violence. For it is as the air invulnerable, and our vein blows malicious mockery.
It was about to speak when the cock crew.
And then it started like a guilty thing, upon a fearful summons. But look, the morn, in russet mantle clad, walks o'er the dew of yon high eastern hill. Break we our watch up, and, by my advice, let us impart what we have seen tonight unto young Hamlet. For upon my life, this spirit, dumb to us, will speak to him.
Let's do it, I pray. And I this morning know where we shall find him most conveniently.
Though yet of Hamlet, our dear brother's death, the memory be green, and that it us befitted to bear our hearts in grief, and our whole kingdom to be contracted in one brow of woe. Yet so far hath discretion fought with nature, that we with wisest sorrow think on him together with remembrance of ourselves. Therefore our sometime sister, now our queen, the imperial jointress of this warlike state, have we, as 'twere with a defeated joy, with one auspicious and one dropping eye, with mirth in funeral and with dirge in marriage, in equal scale, weighing delight and dole, taken to wife. And nor have we herein barred your better wisdoms, which have freely gone with this affair along. Now, for all our thanks. And now, Laertes, what's the news with you? You told us of some suit. What is, Laertes?
Dread
you cannot speak of reason to the Dane and lose your voice. What wouldst thou beg, Laertes? That the head is not more native to the heart, the hand more instrumental to the mouth, than is the throne of Denmark to thy father. What wouldst thou have, Laertes?
Dread my lord, your leave and favour to return to France, from whence, though willingly I came to Denmark to show my duty in your coronation, yet now I must confess, that duty done, my thoughts and wishes bend again toward France.
Have you your father's leave? What says Polonius?
He hath, my lord, wrung from me my slow leave by laboursome petition, and at last, upon his will I sealed my hard consent. I do beseech you, give him leave to go.
I'll take thy fair hour, Laertes. Time be thine, and thy best graces spend it at thy will. And now, my cousin Hamlet, and my son.
A little more than kin and less than kind.
How is it that the clouds still hang on you?
Not so, my lord, I'm too much in the sun.
Good Hamlet, cast thy nighted colour off, and let thine eye look like a friend on Denmark. Do not forever with thy veiled lids seek for thy noble father in the dust. Thou knowest 'tis common, all that lives must die, passing through nature to eternity.
Ay, madam, it is common.
If it be, why seems it so particular with thee?
Seems, madam. Nay, it is. I know not seems. 'Tis not alone my inky cloak, good mother, nor customary suits of solemn black, nor windy suspiration of forced breath, nor the fruitful river in the eye, nor the dejected behaviour of the visage, together with all forms, moods, shows of grief that can denote me truly. These indeed seem, for they are actions that a man might play. But I have that within which passeth show. These but the trappings and the suits of woe.
'Tis sweet and commendable in your nature, Hamlet, to give these morning duties to your father, but you must know, your father lost a father. That father lost his, and the survivor bound in filial obligation for some term to do obsequious sorrow, but to persever in obstinate condolement. 'Tis a course of impious stubbornness. 'Tis unmanly grief. It shows a will most incorrect to heaven, a heart unfortified, a mind impatient, an understanding simple and unschooled for what we know must be. 'tis a fault to heaven, not a fault against the dead, a fault to nature, to reason most absurd. We pray you, throw to earth this unprevailing woe, and think of us as of a father. But for let the world take note. You are the most immediate to our throne, and with no less nobility of love than that which dearest father bears his son, do I impart toward you. Now, for your intent in going back to school in Wittenberg, it is most retrograde to our desire, and we beseech you, or bend you, to remain here in the cheer and comfort of our eye, our chiefest courtier cousin, and our son.
Let not thy mother lose her prayers, Hamlet. I pray thee stay with us. Go not to Wittenberg.
I shall in all my best obey you, madam.
But 'tis a loving and a fair reply. Be as ourself in Denmark. Madam, come. This gentle and unforced accord in Hamlet sits smiling to my heart, in grace whereof no jocund health that Denmark drinks today, but the great cannon to the clouds shall tell. And the king's rouse, the heavens shall bruit again, re-speaking earthly thunder. Come, away!
That this too solid flesh would melt, thaw and resolve itself into a dew, or that the everlasting had not fixed his cannon gainst self-slaughter. Oh, God. God. How weary, stale, flat, and unprofitable seem to me all the uses of this world, fie unto fie. 'Tis an unweeded garden that grows to seed. Things rank and gross in nature possess it merely that it should come to this. But 2 months dead? Nay, not so much, not 2. So excellent a king that was to this Hyperion to a satyr, so loving to my mother that he might not beteem the winds of heaven, visit her face. Too roughly heaven and earth must I remember. Why, she would hang on him as if increase of appetite had grown by what it fed on, and yet within a month, let me not think on't. Frailty, thy name is woman, a little month, or ere those shoes were old with which you followed my poor father's body like Niobe or tears. Why she, even she, God, a beast that one's discourse of reason would have mourned longer, married with mine uncle. My father's brother. But no more like my father than I to Hercules. Within a month she married. Almost wicked speed to post with such dexterity to incestuous sheets. It is not, nor it cannot come to good. But break my heart, for I must hold my tongue.
Hail to your lordship.
I'm glad to see you well. Horatio? Oh, I do forget myself.
The same, my lord, and your poor servant ever.
Sir, my good friend, I'll change that name with you. And what make you from Wittenberg, Horatio? Marcellus?
My good lord.
I am very glad to see you. Good even, sir. But what if faith make you from Wittenberg?
Oh, a truant disposition, good my lord.
I would not have your enemies say so. I know you are no truant. But what is your affair in Elsinore?
My lord, I came to see your father's funeral.
I prithee, do not mock me, fellow student. I think it was to see my mother's wedding.
Indeed, my lord, it followed hard upon.
Thrift, Horatio. The funeral baked meat did coldly furnish forth the marriage tables. Would I had met my dearest foe in heaven ere I had ever seen that day, Horatio. My father. Methinks I see my father.
Oh, where, my lord?
In my mind's eye, Horatio.
I saw him once. He was a goodly king.
He was a man. Take him for all in all. I shall not look upon his like again.
My lord, I think I saw him yesternight.
Saw who?
My lord, the king, your father.
The king, my father?
Season your admiration for a while with an attent ear till I may deliver upon the witness of these gentlemen this marvel to you.
For God's love, let me hear.
2 nights together had these gentlemen, Marcellus and Bernardo.
Bernardo.
But Bernardo, on their watch, been thus encountered. A figure like your father, armed at all points exactly, cap a pay, appears before them, and with solemn march goes slow and stately by them. Thrice he walked by their oppressed and fear-surprised eyes within his truncheon's length, whilst they distilled almost a jelly with the act of fear, stand dumb and speak not to it. This to me, in dreadful secrecy, in part they did, and I with them the 3rd night kept the watch, whereas they had delivered both in time, form of the thing, each word made true and good. The apparition comes. I knew your father. These hands are not more like.
Where was this?
My lord, upon the platform where we watched.
Did you not speak to it?
My lord, I did, but answer made it none.
'Tis very strange.
As I do live, my honoured lord, 'tis true.
Hold you the watch tonight?
We do, my lord.
Armed, say you?
Armed, my lord.
I will watch tonight, perchance 'twill walk again.
I warrant it will.
If it assume my noble father's person, I'll speak to it, though hell itself should gape and bid me hold my peace. I pray you all, if you have hitherto concealed this sight, and whatsoever else shall hap tonight, give it an understanding, but no tongue. Upon the platform, twixt 11 and 12, I'll visit you.
Our duty to your honour.
Your loves, as mine to you. Farewell. My father's spirit in arms. All is not well.
My necessaries are embarked. Farewell. And, sister, as the winds give benefit and convoy as assistant, do not sleep, but let me hear from you.
Do you doubt that?
For Hamlet, and the trifling of his favour, hold it a fashion and a toy in blood. A violet in the youth of primy nature, forward, not permanent, sweet, not lasting. The perfume and suppliance of a minute, no more.
No more, but so.
Think it no more. Perhaps he loves you now, but you must fear. His greatness weighed, his will is not his own, for he himself is subject to his birth. He may not, as unvalued persons do, carve for himself, for on his choice depends the sanctity and health of the whole state. Then weigh what loss your honour may sustain, if with too credent ear you list his songs, or lose your heart, or your chaste treasure open to his unmastered importunity. Fear it, Ophelia. Fear it, my dear sister. And keep within the rear of your affection, out of the shot and danger of desire.
I shall the effect of this good lesson keep as watchman to my heart. But good my brother, do not, as some ungracious pastors do, show me the steep and thorny way to heaven, whilst like a puffed and reckless libertine, himself the primrose path of dalliance treads, and recks not his own reed.
Oh, fear me not! I stayed too long, but here my father comes.
Yet here, Laertes, aboard, aboard, for shame! The wind sits in the shoulder of your sail, and you are stayed for there. My blessing with thee, and these few precepts in thy memory. See thou, character, give thy thoughts no tongue, nor any unproportioned thought his act. Or be thou familiar, but by no means vulgar. The friends thou hast, and their adoption tried, grapple them to thy soul with hoops of steel. Give every man thine ear, but few thy voice. Costly thy habit, as thy purse can buy, but not expressed in fancy. Rich, not gaudy, for the apparel oft proclaims the man. Neither a borrower nor a lender be, for loan oft loses both itself and friend, and borrowing dulls the edge of husbandry. This, above all, To thine own self be true, and it must follow as the night to day. Thou canst not then be false to any man. Well, farewell, my blessing season this in thee.
Most humbly do I take my leave, my lord.
But the time invites you. Go, your servants tend.
Farewell, Ophelia, and remember well what I have said to you.
'Tis in my memory locked, and you yourself shall keep the key of it.
Farewell.
What is Ophelia he hath said to you?
So please you, something touching the Lord Hamlet.
'Tis told me he hath, very oft of late, given private time to you, and you yourself have of your audience been most free and bounteous. I must tell you, you do not understand yourself so clearly as it behoves my daughter and your honour. What is between you? Give me up the truth.
He hath, my lord, of late made many tenders of his affection to me.
Affection? Poof, you speak like a green girl unsifted in such perilous circumstance. Do you believe his tenders, as you call them?
I do not know, my lord, what I should think.
Marry, I'll teach you. Think yourself a baby. That you've taken his tenders for true pay, which are not sterling. Tender yourself more dearly. Or, not to crack the wind of the poor phrase, wronging it thus, you'll tender me a fool.
My lord, he hath importuned me with love. In honourable fashion.
Aye, fashion you may call it. Go to, go
and
to.
hath given countenance to his speech, my lord, with almost all the holy vows of heaven.
Aye, springes to catch woodcocks. I do know, when the blood burns, how prodigal the soul that lends the tongue. Vows these blazes, daughter, you must not take for fire. Be somewhat scanter of your maiden presence. Set your entreaties at a higher rate. In few, Ophelia, do not believe his vows. This is for all. I would not, in plain terms, from this time forth, have you so slander any moment's leisure as to give words or talk to the Lord Hamlet. Well, look to it, I charge you. Come your ways.
I shall obey, my lord.
The air bites shrewdly. Is it very cold?
It is a nipping and an eager air.
What hour is it?
I think it lacks of 12.
No, it is struck.
Indeed, I heard it not. What does this mean, my lord?
The king doth wake tonight and takes his rouse. The kettle drum and trumpet thus bray out the triumph of his pledge.
Is it a custom?
Aye, marry, is it? And to my mind, though I am native here and to the manor born, it is a custom more honoured in the breach than in the observance.
Look, my lord, it comes.
Angels and ministers of grace defend us. Be thy intent wicked or charitable, thou comest in such a questionable shape that I will speak to thee. I'll call thee Hamlet, King. Father? Royal Dane? Oh, answer me! Let me not burst in ignorance, but tell why thy canonized bones, hearsed in death, have burst their cerements. Say, why is this? Wherefore? What shall we do?
It beckons you to go away with it, as if it's some impartment it desire to you alone.
Look with what courteous action it wafts you to a more removed ground, but do not go with it.
No, by no means.
Why? What should be the fear? I do not set my life at a pin's fee, and for my soul, what can it do to that, being a thing immortal as itself? It waves me forth again, I'll follow it.
What if it tempt you toward the flood, my lord, and there assume some other horrible form which might deprive your sovereignty of reason and draw you into madness? Think of it.
It wafts me still. Go on, I'll follow thee.
You shall not go, my lord.
Hold off your hand!
Be rules, you shall not go!
My fate cries out! Still am I called. Unhand me, gentlemen! By heaven, I'll make a ghost of him that lets me. I say away, go on. I'll follow thee.
He waxes desperate with imagination.
Let's follow. 'Tis not fit thus to obey him.
Have after, to what issue will this come?
Something is rotten in the state of Denmark.
Heaven will direct it.
Nay, let's follow him.
Whither wilt thou lead me?
Mark me.
I will.
My hour is almost come, when I to sulphurous and tormenting flames must render up myself.
Alas, poor ghost.
Pity me not, but lend thy serious hearing to what I shall unfold.
Speak, speak. I am bound to hear.
So art thou to revenge when thou shalt hear?
What?
I am thy father's spirit, doomed for a certain term to walk the night and for the day, confined to fast in fires till the foul crimes done in my days of nature are burnt and purged away, but that I am forbid to tell the secrets of my prison house. I could a tale unfold whose lightest word would harrow up thy soul, freeze thy young blood, make thy two eyes like stars start from their spheres. If thou didst ever thy dear father love,
Oh, God.
revenge his foul and most unnatural murder.
Murder?
Murder most foul, as in the best it is, but this most foul, strange, and unnatural.
Haste me to know it, that I with wings as swift as meditation or the thoughts of love may sweep to my revenge.
I find thee apt. 'Tis given out that sleeping in mine orchard a serpent stung me. So the whole ear of Denmark is by a forged process of my death rankly abused. But know thou, noble youth, the serpent that did sting thy father's life now wears his crown.
Oh, my prophetic soul. My uncle?
Aye, that incestuous, that adulterate beast, with witchcraft of his wit, with traitorous gifts of wicked wit and gifts that have the power so to seduce one to his shameful lust, the will of my most seeming virtuous queen. But soft methinks I scent the morning's air. Brief, let me be sleeping within mine orchard, my custom always in the afternoon. Upon my secure hour thy uncle stole, with juice of cursed Hebena in a vial, and in the porches of mine ears did pour the leprous distilment. Thus was I sleeping by a brother's hand, of life, of crown, of queen, at once dispatched, cut off, even in the blossoms of my sin. No reckoning made, but sent to my account, with all my imperfections on my head. Oh, horrible, oh, horrible, most horrible. If thou hast nature in thee, bear it not. Let not the royal bed of Denmark be a couch for luxury and damned incest, but howsoever thou pursuest this act, taint not thy mind, nor let thy soul contrive against thy mother aught. Leave her to heaven, until those thorns that in her bosom lodge to prick and sting her. Fare thee well at once. The glowworm shows the matin to be near, begins to pale his ineffectual fire. Adieu. Adieu. Hamlet. Remember me.
Oh, you host of heaven, O earth, what else? And shall I couple hell remember thee? I, thou poor ghost, while memory holds a seat in this distracted globe, remember thee, most pernicious woman. Oh, villain, villain, smiling, damned villain, that one may smile and be a villain. So, uncle, there you are. Now to my word. It is adieu, adieu. Remember me. I have sworn. So be it. Hillo, boy, come, bird, come.
How is it, my noble lord?
What news, my lord?
Oh, wonderful.
Good, my lord, tell it.
No, you'll reveal it.
Not I, my lord, by heaven.
Nor I, my lord.
How say you then, would hard a man once think it, but you'll be secret?
I, by heaven, my lord.
There's an arrant villain dwelling in all Denmark, but he's an arrant knave.
There needs no ghost, my lord, come from the grave to tell us this.
Why, right! You are in the right, and so without more circumstance at all, I hold it fit that we shake hands and part. Look you, I'll go pray.
These are but wild and whirling words, my lord.
I'm sorry they offend you heartily. Yes, faith, heartily.
There's no offence, my lord.
Yes. By St. Patrick, but there is, Horatio. And much Offence too, touching this vision here. It is an honest ghost, that let me tell you. And now, good friends, as you are friends, scholars and soldiers, give me one poor request.
What is, my lord, we will?
Never make known what you have seen tonight.
My lord, we will not.
Nay, but swear it.
In faith, my lord, not I.
Nor I, my lord, in faith.
Upon my sword.
We have sworn, my lord,
Indeed,
already.
upon my sword, indeed. Sayest thou so? Art thou there, true penny? Come on! You hear this fellow in the cellarage? Consent to swear.
Propose the oath, my lord.
Never to speak of this. You have seen, swear by my sword. Hic et ubique, then we'll shift our ground. Come hither, gentlemen, and lay your hands again upon my sword. Never to speak of this that you have heard. Swear by my sword. Well said, old mole. Canst work in the earth so fast?
Oh, day and night, but this is wondrous strange.
And therefore, as a stranger, give it welcome. There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, that are dreamt of in our philosophy. But come, as I, perchance, hereafter shall think meet to put an antic disposition on, that you at such times seeing me never shall with arms encumbered thus, or this head shake, or by pronouncing of some doubtful phrase as well we know, or we could, or if we would, or such ambiguous giving out to know that you know aught of me. This not to do, so grace and mercy at your most need help you. Swear, swear. Rest, perturbed spirit. So, gentlemen, with all my love, I do commend me to you. And what so poor a man as Hamlet is may do to express his love and friending to you, God willing, shall not lack. Let us go in together. And still, your fingers on your lips, I pray. The time is out of joint. Oh, cursed spite, that ever I was born to set it right. Nay, come. Let's go together.